Hi, guys. Welcome back to Hear Me Out. I'm E.
I'm D.
So, before we get started, could you please like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so we know so you know when our videos are posted. Join our community. We are funny. We give you our thoughts, opposing thoughts. We sometimes agree, we sometimes don't. Depends on the day.
Really, it
This
does.
is a 20 plus year friendship, and I don't know how we're still friends, to be honest. But please join us, comment, subscribe. We're just giving you our daily combos.
Yeah.
Basically, hear us out. So today we are going to elaborate on a little snippet of the first episode of the Kardashians. And what's going viral on social media right now was a conversation that Kim had with her mom. And it was talking about Kanye's shenanigans and how what he's doing, which we know the Kanye of it all the
Mhm.
things that he's done the year or two, all the craziness. She says that it's far more damaging to the kids than her adult tape would ever be. So, here's a little clip of it.
This to himself, but even just like how he looks so down on me for like my tape and brings it up all over town, all over the media. Like, thanks for reminding people once again. All of his shenanigans, I don't even know what to call it, rhetoric, is going to be far more damaging to the kids one day than my tape will ever be. That's right. And I have to sit here and not say anything ever because I know one day my kids will appreciate that. And I know that like it's the best thing for them. And by the way, I'm the one where I going down and I get in the car and every day the kids want to blast dad's music. And I'm like, he's the best. Yeah. And I put it on and we're singing along. And inside I'm like dying because I will be his biggest cheerleader to them forever. And one day when they see for themselves. Oh, and he's doing this to himself.
So, we heard it. What do we think?
Well, we briefly touched on it in our Kardashian review. Make sure to check it out. And I think we both kind of felt like, and it's no, I don't necessarily agree with it.
Chris does.
I mean, Chris is always going to agree with anything Kim says. No, I mean, I love Kim, I do, but this adult X-rated video she did with Ray J. I mean, it's not just Kanye that's brought it up, right? We talked about how in the new Kardashian iteration show of in Hulu, the very first season with them, the very first episode was about that tape. And so it's like, okay, yeah,
It's the
Kanye,
video that never dies.
right? Like guys, can we get over it? Like that was such a long time ago. But I think that in some ways, like while I may not fully agree with her sentiment, in some ways, by the time those kids are old enough, I think that it'll probably be more questions of their dad versus what their mom did in the past prior to them. Because their dad has been making these comments throughout their lives, right? And I mean, I think at one point Kim had to add security to the kid's school because of his anti-Semitic rhetoric that was kind of, putting them in danger, and that is detrimental. I mean, that can be very dangerous, and so in that case, yeah, it can be far more damaging than her tape. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that the tape and the Kanye of it all is they're both equally damaging to the kids. I
Yeah.
think something like that. I think people can't accept Kim and her family's success.
Mhm.
They can't believe that somebody who was a reality star or a family that were reality stars have now built this media empire or these slew of businesses and people to be hurtful. They'll be like, "Oh, Kim, if it wasn't for Ray J, she
Oh
wouldn't
my
be here. Or
gosh.
if she wasn't,
Yeah.
um, what's her name? Paris Hilton's,
BFF, closet designer, whatever you want to
yeah,
call it.
all of that, she wouldn't be as popular. Or, if OJ did it or didn't do it and the dad defended them or not, then, the Kardashians would be irrelevant. I think people don't want to give the family their kudos
Yeah.
and Kim their kudos, but at the same time, I think that that's such a big thing. Like, how do you overcome? I'm not going there. How do you overcome, something so big and so personal? And, just think about, let's say the kids, obviously, I don't think her kids would
Never watched
look at this video, but their friends.
it. Mm-hmm.
How about, the interactions they'll have with their friends and say, well, I saw your mom XYZ or doing this or doing that.
Yeah.
Also, the dad, with all his rhetoric, you know, saying XYZ about the mom, about the family,
Yeah.
just doing all these ludicrous things. I think that's equally damaging too. I,
Yeah.
one can say that these kids, I'd be surprised if they're normal in the future.
Right.
And I pray that they are, but that with a family like that and a dad like that, I don't see how anything that's done is not damaging to their overall, health, to their overall growing
Well-being.
up, to
Yeah.
their overall life.
You know, I think that if you look at it in certain ways, right? So if you look at it from the perspective of the family unit itself, I think what Kanye did is more detrimental
Hmm.
in the terms of like if I was that child, knowing, oh, my mom did some kind of tape that I'd never care to see with someone prior to my dad, prior to my family, whatever. But knowing that my dad is going around disparaging my mother through the
Yeah.
divorce, knowing that my dad cheated on my mother, knowing that my dad has said terrible things about her and our family, the family that has been protecting us, I think that would make me feel a lot more negative towards my father than my mother, right? Like, when you're a kid, you're not going to fully comprehend both sides of the story. It's just not possible. You're too young. But at the same time, as a kid, like, you're going to look at who is there and what they're doing and what they're saying. So if Kim is championing Kanye to them, playing his music, being his biggest cheerleader in front of them, that is what they're going to gather, right? That their mother loves their father no matter what. But when Kanye has those kids and he's saying negative things about their mom, about their grandmother, about, their aunties or whatever, that's something that I think any kid, no matter what age, would probably feel uncomfortable by. So in that case, in that realm of things, yes, she has a point. It would be far more detrimental. But like in the outside world, in the grand scheme of things, that tape is a problem. And like you said, it's never gonna die. And no matter how old these kids become, and it's sad to say, but once they're out in the world, once they're adults themselves, they're gonna get questions, no matter what, about both of them. It's gonna happen. And I don't know that one or the other would be more detrimental at that point, because I think they're both just gonna be doomed, no matter what.
It's really, hindsight is really 2020.
Yeah.
Even with our lives, I'm sure if she knew the repercussions of everything that that tape would bring and her
Yeah.
credibility, I don't think she would do it.
No.
And, it would be nice to just kind of evaluate your life and see like what decision you make, and how the ripple effect is for all
Yeah.
that. I'm sure that a lot of these indiscretions and things like that, and
Yeah.
even, people in the adult industry. I wonder, how do they deal with, raising their kids and, moving away from that lifestyle,
Right.
or whatever other thing that we might not think is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So, I I don't think I personally don't really think about Kim's video like that. Sometimes
No.
I'm human. I crack on it, meaning crack like, joke around. I'll be like, oh, Kim, but I do admire her business savviness and everything that her and her family have done.
Yeah.
But I don't know, can we blame Kanye really? We know that he has these mental health issues. Could we say that, he's doing it and he's not in his right state of mind?
I feel like that's a cop out
Not to
because
justify his behavior, but
right. No, I mean I get what you're saying, and at some point I've thought of that as well. But I think in essence it'd be a cop out because he's a grown up and he's seen doctors. Doctors have prescribed medications. And he has publicly said how sometimes he just doesn't take them. He doesn't want them. So this is the choice that you're making, right?
hmm
So you're also now creating possibilities to do and say things that are harmful to your family, to your kids. Because whether you're married to Kim or not, she's still your family and she'll be your family forever because she's the mother of your kids. And so to me it's just kind of like we've seen behavior from Kanye for years that's been very negative about women. I mean, even from when he first started dating Kim, the way that he referenced Amber Rose, who he dated prior to Kim, some of the comments he made about her were also just very, very disparaging. And I think it was unnecessary for him to even say those things. And Amber has come out and she said, that was really hurtful. That was a really hurtful thing for him to say. I think the comment was along the lines of, I had to take like 100 showers before I could get with Kim after being with Amber Rose. And it's like, why would you even say that? What does that have one thing to do with the other? And if you feel that way, you're entitled to feel however you want to feel, but why publicly put that out there? That's kind of why I feel like yes, he has mental health issues, but that's not a full on excuse to treat women the way that you do. And I think he has a history of not treating women so well.
I really did not expect Kanye to unravel the way he did. We know that when Donda died, for those who don't know, that's Kanye's mom.
Mm-hmm.
When she passed away, it's like a little light switch went off
It really
for Kanye.
did. Yeah.
And, you know, during the show and even before that, Kanye seemed, and this is appearances, not everything is what it seems.
Right.
He seemed so smitten with Kim. He was so obsessed with her. We heard it on all the lyrics. Every time
Yeah.
he did an interview or something, how Kim was going to be his future wife. We saw how he proposed at what
Dodgers.
was it, Dodger Stadium or whatever stadium. We saw, just everything, all this lavishness and displays of affection and the grandiose gifts and, thoughtfulness that he's displayed, and one would think, I'm like, he's been talking about it. He loves her, he's showing her, but at the same time, it once you get something, you probably take it for granted.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe things weren't as they appeared. I don't know. I'm not part of their marriage. I don't know what's going on in the Kar Jenner
Right.
house. They haven't invited me, even though I'm a
Not yet.
stepsister.
Not yet.
But Kanye has always been outspoken, that's for sure.
Hmm.
And I'm just disappointed to see that, things unraveled the way they did. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
kind of quiet, but can we expect that from Kanye? I don't think so.
No.
But he should have thought about it a little more with poor little kids,
Mhm.
in the middle of all of this.
Yeah, and I think like my some of my last thoughts on it are just that, North especially, who is I think going to be 10. I'm not sure if it's this year or next year. You know, she's seemingly someone based on like the postings Kim has on social media, someone that's gonna want to be out there, someone that's grown up in the limelight, in the spotlight, and so I think wants to be a part of it. Seemingly, right? She may change her mind. Mason Disick, I believe, is one that doesn't want anything to do with the limelight, and so he doesn't appear in Courtney's, shots and all that. But Mason, by the way, is her cousin. So North, I think, is someone that is already showing signs of she's gonna be, her own little star. She's gonna be out there. So, she's gonna be the first one that's gonna have to deal with
And this is probably one of the one that looks like Kanye or
the
does
most.
Kanye's little protege
Yes.
in the making.
And I mean, that's gotta be, I feel for Kim. Like, that's gotta be rough just all the way around because, like she said, she's gotta suck it up. She's gotta champion him, in front of her kids. And, will they one day be able to ascend? Yeah, I'm sure they will. But I think North, like I said, she's gonna be the first one to have to deal with a lot of this stuff because when she's old enough and she goes out into the world and, she's out there, she will have to, probably field questions from new people she meets in her life. And not everybody's your friend. There's going to be people that are going to want to just get close to you to get like some of the cheese, maybe the gossip. And that's going to suck. I can't imagine, first you're not growing up in a normal childhood, right? And
Mm.
then you're gonna have to go and like you're trying to be your own person, but the shadow of your mother and your father, not only do they follow you because of who they are and their status and notoriety, but also because of their past actions. And I think that's unfortunate. I think that's something that clearly Kim has learned from what everything, that her mom went through with her divorces, and she's trying to make sure that she follows, a good example. But like you said, Kanye totally unraveled after Donda passed away. So I don't know what sort of example he, possibly has for how to deal with a marriage ending. But his behavior has been just intolerable, I think, and yeah, detrimental for sure to the kids. So I think it's unfortunate.
He does seem kind of calm these days. I wonder what a weekend with Kanye is as his kid. Like, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Right.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I mean, maybe he's taking his meds. I know I saw him with some shoulder pads. They really trying to bring these shoulder pads back. They need to
Yeah.
leave it out. Leave it in the 70s, 80s, wherever it resided.
Yeah.
Um, and socks. I guess he's trying to copy Balenciaga in some kind of way, but whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, well, I hope that these kids appreciate everything that Kim is doing.
Yeah.
This is a tricky situation, but that tape will not die. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Kanye's actions will not die.
No.
So, hopefully the kids are a little understanding of, or very understanding of, mistakes that people make
Hmm.
and the efforts that parents make to shield them in the best way that they can so they can grow up kind of normal.
Yeah, as normal as you can when two of your parents, or both of your parents are like, some of the most famous people in the world. But yeah, that is definitely, I hope, we get some kind of normalcy, Maybe when they grow up, they're not gonna want to be in the limelight, Maybe for them it'll be like, yeah, no, y'all saw enough of me. That's it, I'm done. Who knows? But
Then, Chris, she wants the next generation of Kardashian, Disick, West, Thompson. What else? What other nicknames? I
Webster,
mean, Webster. They got to continue. They got to make this money. This
yeah,
Kardashian Jenner legacy, Chris
yeah.
will not stop till, I don't know, she's taking some juice to live forever and manage all these kids.
I can see that for sure. Or plot twist, Kim becomes Chris.
Oh, Kylie.
Or Kylie. Other
I
plot
can see
twist.
Kim though. I can see Kim.
For
She
sure.
does want to be the lawyer. I could see her managing the businesses
Oh
and
my
things
God.
like that. Not Courtney, so we know the beef.
We are not discussing Courtney in
No, I
another episode. No, no, no.
know. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. We are Hear Me Out with E.
Indeed.
So join us, like us, everything us.
Yeah. Subscribe, share, comment. Tell us we're wrong. It's okay.
All right. Peace.